Welcome to In the Zone. Dave Delgado here with Douglas Perez, president of the Guam Rugby Club, Mike Mattel, vice president. And man, some good news coming out of Weddingale. You guys are going to be right there knocking on the door at the finish line to have the home back.
Yeah, we just need to get the final paperwork pushed through and signed by CLTC. Then we're going to open up the gates once we get that key. Assess the situation on the field and the facilities, get that all up and running so that we have them in a state that's good for the kids to play on. We might have some adult events before that, but we definitely don't want the kids to come out and get hurt on an improper surface. And we got to cut grass, we got to pull weeds, we got to put new seed down for the proper grass. We got to fix our facilities because during that closure of the field, there was some burglary, some vandalization. So, we're looking forward to that. It's by no means a chore to us. It's a labor of love for sure. We're a nonprofit organization, so the big bulk of that work is just going to come from us and our club, and any community supporters that want to come out and help us. We have. Since the club's been up and running, we've had tens of thousands of kids come through the rugby community, and a lot of people are now starting to notice the real benefits because you got all these kids going off to college, got some people going pro, semi-pro. One guy, Zach Pangolin, he was on the U.S. national team. So that's just something that we really take pride in, being the only designated and IRB regulated field on Guam. And that's why it's so important that we were pushing to get it open. It's for the community. It's community land and everything like that. And despite whatever differences we had, we're really glad that Howes was willing to see eye to eye with us on our vision and turning that Weddingale field area into a community facility, that can be used to propel our youth and sports into the future.
And what has the response been like, especially for the younger generation of rugby players and just the rugby community in general?
Man, everyone's excited. I was actually talking to my brother Joe the other day, and he's actually the head coach for the Sanchez boys team. And when I talked to him about it, they're like, man, dude, we're so excited to get our field back. Unfortunately, we can't use it this year, but next year when we have more students coming in and the sport will grow, everyone's excited, And just to go back into the children, we actually have an under 14 and under 16 team representing GRC in Guam as they travel internationally to different tournaments throughout the year. And that's their that's their home, right? That's the place that they practice, the place where they get their experience, their skills, right? And just learning the game of rugby. For the most part, you and I both know, and as well as Doug, right? As athletes, we learn certain skills throughout playing sports, right? Like discipline, right? Paying attention, awareness, and all these little things that eventually add up to making us better people as we become adults, right? And it's one of those things where if we take that away from the kids now, where would they be in 15, 20 years, right? Without those skills. But yeah, as you can imagine, everyone's excited, and it's good.
And I think the main thing is it's not just a field, it's not just a place where the Simon Sanchez Sharks call home, but it's a place where athletes get better at what they do, and it's repetition. The Weddingale field is the only regulated rugby field on island, and you spoke about the difference it is as what basketball players go through on a basketball court. You look at it, the three-point line, it makes a huge difference what 1 and 2 feet can do to altering your shot. And the rugby field, the tri-zone area is a big deal.
Yeah, it is. Just to speak to the dimensions of the field, we have 100 meters in length and 60 to 70 meters in width. And you can imagine that playing on like another field, right? Let's just say a football field or even a soccer field. Sometimes the width isn't going to be the same, right? So some of the plays, some of the lines that rugby players run, it'll really interfere with how wide the field is, right? The wider the field, the more space you have to cover on defense, which means that there's going to be more space for offense to attack, right? And just like those little things, right? Knowing, and it goes back to awareness, right? Being aware of your surroundings, right? And then just, for the most part, having the only regulated field on island, right? It being shut down was very detrimental to the community. But moving forward, we're glad that it's worked out. We're glad to get the front foot forward and continue to improve the sport, not just rugby, but even football, right? Our under 14 and under 16 team, actually a good amount of them come from the football programs throughout the island. And, and it hit their parents the worst, right? Because as football parents and not rugby parents, they're like, why is there such a difference between, the two parties, us and House? But I'm glad that we worked it out. And, like I said, moving forward, we look forward to working with House in the future.
And a lot of things planned already. It doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to play a competition setting until maybe May or...
I don't want to give a definite time frame, but, I mean, it's going to be several months. I definitely want to say, like I said, to get it properly prepared for the kids. It's definitely going to be outside of 4 months, I'm thinking. And, with Guam, you can't really predict how the weather's going to affect your progress, right? So, we don't want to make any empty promises, but, we're doing all we can. We've been working on this since, August of last year. Just this particular part. But, like Mike said, moving forward, we're really excited.
And the sport has seen the fruits of the labor as far as coaches and putting the time in with the athletes, because more and more high school athletes are getting college rugby scholarships and playing rugby at the next level. And, this is a sport that, it's not like football. It's not too much about the size. You look at the recent girls that have got scholarships to play rugby at the collegiate level. They're not the biggest players, but it's just the work ethic and how they play the sport that coaches have got their attention,
Yeah, so like some of the men and women that play in the collegiate level all came from grassroots right here on Guam. All of them actually played at the Weddingale Rugby Field, right, throughout their high school career, even some of them and through their middle school careers, right? But having that grassroots idea, right, and bringing it to a bigger stage in the States, it really shows how much heart Guam has. No matter how big we are or how small we are, we come with a lot of force and we come with a lot of heart. And our work ethic will outwork almost all of them out there. So it's one of those things where we're glad that we're part of the foundation for it, and we look forward to having more kids go through the program and feeding them into the schools that will help them succeed in life.
And Weddingale allowed us to showcase our rugby talents internationally with True Grit and having off-island teams come here and see that, wow, Guam does have a legit rugby facility.
Yeah, so like when international teams come here and play, not only does it help us as local players, but we get that experience challenging people that have played against pros before, right? Seeing what the competition is really like and gaining that experience through just doing the sport, And with that being said, man, it's a beautiful thing to see people come here, cherish the island, right? The beauty of that it has, and then also the rugby that we have to offer. So it's always a nice thing.
And when one of the ships come in, they schedule.
They do play. Yes, they do. Yeah. They normally schedule it with the Guam Rugby Club. We'll get a couple of the boys who want to play. We'll get the team together, tell them, hey, come down. The last one was I can't remember the ship's name, but it was such a big thing for us because it was the first one in a couple of years that a ship has come through and played. And we had this whole ceremony. They were giving away gifts, coins for like players of the match. Had a big barbecue, just enjoying everyone's company, and it was good. Yeah, it was fun, really fun.
And it's about history. I mean, you talk about certain things like this, and it's allowing our visitors to come to Guam, play a tough rugby match, but also go back to where they're from and share the story that, man, hey, Guam has some players that can ball out in the sport.
Yeah, it's always nice, man. For the most part, Guam has more to offer than just rugby, right? We offer an island destination in paradise, right? Rugby is just one of the things that help bring sports tourism, right, to the island. it's one of those things where as people come, it's just word of mouth that spreads, and more people come and more people come throughout the years, right? And eventually 100 people today could be 10,000 people in like 10 years, right? It's always going to continue to grow, and it's something that'll definitely benefit Guam.
Well, let's talk about some of the tournaments that are lined up for the future, whether it be beach rugby or any type of rugby.
In the summer, the union, along with its sponsors, are going to be throwing a Philippines versus Guam residents match, and it's going to be a friendly exhibition game. Guam has traveled to the Philippines in the past to play friendly games as a warm-up for international competition, so it's nice to have the Philippines come here for a change and play us on our soil. There's also a Rugby 7 circuit that's going to be happening later on in the year, towards the end of summer. And then we have a few fun events like touch rugby, beach rugby. More so, the most immediate thing coming up is the Heineken 15s, and it's run by the union. It's going to be next month, towards the later part of the month. March 21st is the first game. As far as the rugby club, GRC is going to be hosting the alumni series later on in the year. More than likely it's going to be around Thanksgiving time. Sometimes it's during the summer, but more than likely it'll be around then, where rivals from old schools get to play against each other again and not be affiliated with just a specific club, but affiliated with their alma mater and playing against each other just like old times.
And how can people reach out to you guys to maybe offer their manpower services or whatever to help with rebuilding the Weddingale field?
Well, they can reach out to the officers, Mike and myself. I kind give you like contact later on.
No. Instagram page. Do you guys have an Instagram or social media stuff?
Yeah, we have Instagram and Facebook. Yeah, that's the most readily available way for people to contact us.
Also, we're going to be doing a press release once we get the signatures done, and the entire island will know that, hey, on this day we're going to start repairing the field, and but we'll get it out to all the news organizations, and it'll be in the papers.
Anything else you guys want to add before I let you go?
I really just want to thank everyone involved. We really received a lot of invaluable assistance from the administration, the legislature, Department of Land Management, CLTC. We have a lot of individual private rugby supporters that really advised us and kind of got the wheels turning on this. And I really want to say thank you to everyone who's involved, because it's at the end of the day, it's not for the Guam Rugby Club, it's for the Guam rugby community, the one now, and then the people coming through and what it could be in the future.
Doug nailed it on the head on that one. Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at In the Zone.